Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Seasonal Tokens Podcast, where Polar interviews people so you can do more investing and less gambling.
Hello everyone, it is Polar here, the CMO of Seasonal Tokens. Welcome on another episode of the Seasonal Tokens Podcast. And today we have another special guest. We have Sam Kamari, who is a best-selling author, founder, podcaster, and a very big crypto believer. So welcome, Sam.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you very much for accepting my invitation. I hope that you enjoy what I have prepared for you. So let's begin with the first question, which is, can you introduce yourself and your background with a few words?
Yeah, sure. So last 15 years or so, I have been involved in lots of different tech startups. I've had two small exits. The first one was in e-commerce. The second one was in esports. I've been a gamer most of my life and also an early adopter of things. So to give you an example, I was using Google AdWords in 2004. That's 18 years ago, when no one even knew Google AdWords existed, or most people didn't know. So that allowed me to buy AdWords for a few cents compared to what now is like $10, $20 for the same AdWords. So that's what helped me build my first company in e-commerce. And that's the same belief I carry on to this day, that being early, whether it is you're early on Instagram or Facebook, and with esports startup, I built a huge audience on Facebook really fast, managed to grow that company from 80,000 to 300,000 monthly active users in about 8 months. And then that got acquired. So if you are early, you have an unfair advantage. And I feel like we are all early in Web3. So after that acquisition in 2018, I've written books, I speak at events, and also at work and advise Web3 startups on growth side of things. So that's all about me. And yes, as Polar mentioned, that I do run a Web3 podcast as well. It's called Web3 with Sam Kamani. So yeah, that's about me.
Really exciting. I have prepared a lot of questions to get more information about your past, because I think there is a lot of value in our past. So what has actually attracted you to the Web3 world?
Yeah, so before going full-time in Web3, I kind of co-owned, and after the esports startup was acquired, I co-owned an agency with a friend of mine here in Auckland, New Zealand. And we used to create MVPs, like minimum viable products, for entrepreneurs and startup founders who have like an idea. They come to us, we create we had like a team of developers locally and overseas as well. And we do that. So I was doing that. But what I saw over the last year and a half ago was that all my friends who are working for big names like, Google and LinkedIn and Facebook and Apple, they were all leaving their jobs and starting Web3 startups, as well as other startup founders. They were pivoting towards Web3. So I have always kept an eye on Bitcoin and Ethereum since, say, like Bitcoin since 2012, 2013, and Ethereum since 2015, 2016, and built small MVPs and stuff, but never gone in full time and done something full time in it. So I thought, this time I don't want to wait on the sidelines. I want to play a role in how the future is being shaped in this industry. So that's why I jumped in. I used to run another podcast where I used to interview VCs, like venture capitalists and angel investors. So I stopped that podcast. I started a Web3 podcast, and I stopped working with Web2 startups in that agency. I let my friend take the ownership of that, which it was initially his. I had gotten a stake later on. So I gave my stake back to him. And I said, you know what, you can continue running this. I want to go and work full time in Web3. So that's why now I work with two Web3 startups. So one is I'm part of a DAO, which is like a decentralized autonomous organization called Moonstream DAO. And then I also work as a VP of growth for smartcontract.recipes, where we are building a no-code platform so that anyone can come and create a smart contract or a decentralized app like a dApp And yeah, in a no code way. So say like if you want to create a token for your podcast, you could create your own token, ST, PO or something, and in few minutes, 2 to 3 minutes, and it's all done in a no code way. Or if you want to create like say an NFT minting website or any smart contract you want, whether it's for staking, a burnable token, anything you can think of, you can find. We have got nearly 100 plus smart contracts that you can create on our platform. So yeah.
Really nice, really nice. So from all the experience that you have had the chance to have in this Web3 world, which is the most exciting part of it for you?
For me, the most exciting part is that there is a lot of energy in this space. And the number two thing is that everything moves so much faster. So, like already in the technology world and in the startup world, things move faster. But when you see the Web3 world, it is like you age in dog years. It's like 2 years in Web3 is like 8-9 years in the regular startup world, in tech startup world. So I like that speed. I like things are really, really dynamic and a lot more sort of collaborative. So it's like we created this platform where you can create smart contracts and stuff, but then other people will come and use our platform and create their own decentralized apps, and they'd be doing that in a day. They won't be needing to hire Solidity developers and needing to learn that and take years or even months. So things move so much faster. So I love that. And there is so many smart people that work in this space that I have no doubt that it is going to progress really, really well.
Yeah, I totally agree with you that the dynamic in the Web3 world is just tremendously fast. It's the same with the marketing and everything. Something that has been working yesterday, there is a chance not to work in 1 week. Something that in the Web2 world is a rare case. So yeah, things are dynamically very fast changing here. And the other great thing that you just mentioned is that some of the top minds in the world are already jumping in Web3, which I think can promise us great developments, better future, and a lot of opportunities for the younger generations and also for us, which are not that young. I'm talking about me, not about you, Sam. So what you're saying is really exciting. And there is a very interesting concept that you have been sharing around the world with your Web3 world, and I suppose also with your Web2 world, and it is about gamification. I have watched a TEDx video with you, which is an amazing one, and
thank you.
Yeah, and I suggest everyone to watch it because it's really engaging, really enjoyable. So I have a question regarding the gamification and investing. So how do you think gamification can help crypto investors to achieve more?
Oh, that's such an interesting question. I think crypto investors are a different breed in themselves. They don't need any any encouragement. As you know, it's like the thing is that it is that platform that we were trying to create and working on. That is not for the average or the usual crypto investors. It is for the people who are not interested in investment at all. It is kind of a way to get them interested into investing. For people who are already interested in crypto, they already play around, they already try and learn about things because they've already crossed that barrier. So it is for the people like my parents, it is for people who are like my kids, who are not yet interested. They are interested in playing Fortnite. So it's like, how can we find them some joy in learning about investment, whether it is investing in stocks or into their own future or into crypto or any other digital asset or financial asset for that matter. So that's what I meant by sort of gamification.
Yeah, that's really exciting. But at the same time, like you said in the video, we always find excuses when we are talking about investments, about money. No matter if you are like 30 years old, 40 years old, 50 years old, there are always some sort of excuses not to take care of your financial future. So this was my idea regarding this question. How if I'm a such person that is not very excited about crypto investments or investments as a whole, how through gamification I can turn the idea of having better financial future something that can make me more excited.
Yeah, I'm going to go back into the three main ways how you can gamify anything. And then I'll talk about how we can apply this in the crypto sense. And the three things that I do talk about in the TEDx video is also that how I've tried to gamify is number one is progression, the number two is competition, and then the number three is collaboration. So the thing is, I'll try and zoom past it and go on it really, really fast. So progression happens when you move, so when you gain a new title, if you reach a new level, and when we progress through life or through whatever we are trying to achieve, it keeps us motivated. If we are not moving in life, if we are doing the same job for 40 years, it is very boring for some people like you and I. We want progression in life. So you have to see that, whatever you are doing, how you can progress. So whether it is by doing a course, whether it's by going through university, whether it's by learning from someone, so how you can keep progressing and taking small steps and making them into bigger steps. So that's the number one thing. That's how it would work in learning about investing or about crypto and stuff. The second thing, it's competition. And that is that, it's like if you watch like 100-meter race or any sport, or if there's a football sort of a World Cup or something, and then if every team is number one and no one comes number two, it will be very boring. It's like 32 teams or 64 teams and everyone's number one. Like there's no winner every year. So it's no point in watching it, So you have to add some competition for you. And how you can do that is you can team up with a friend and say that, hey, look, let's compete. Let's give each one of us $100 and see who can make more of it by the end of the week. I mean, I'm just throwing an example, whatever your criteria might be, whatever your thing might be. So, or say about, that, okay, let's do a course together and learn about whether it's on Udemy or wherever online and do something like that. So create some friendly competition. And if you don't have any friend, don't have anyone, then compete with your own self that, that this was my target. This is what I wanted to do. I wanted to, as a first small step this week, I wanted to go and learn about one currency or one crypto and see what its utility is, how it can be used, where it can be used, why I think, create a thesis around it, why I think it's going to go up or go down, and then track it even in a spreadsheet and without even investing, and see where you go, whether you do well or not, and just see whether you get things right or wrong. And compete with yourself and see how much % gain did you make in that week. Is it just because the whole market is moving down? Is it what your thesis was? So that's the competition part. And then the third one is collaboration. And collaboration is kind of a bit self-explanatory. And this is something that you collaborate with a friend and you teach each other, you learn from each other, and you go on a journey together. That's when it becomes a lot easier and it becomes a lot more fun. So those are the three sort of gaming elements that you can apply. In this case, it was on cryptocurrency. In other case, it could be for anything that you are trying to learn, whether it is in exercise in gym or something else. So yeah, that's my point of view on that.
Really nice, really nice. Yeah, I definitely think that if you implement gamification on the boring stuff, it can become much more enjoyable,
fun, and
yeah.
Yes.
And this can increase the chance of you doing this thing and not pushing it away from your life, because sometimes the things that we are pushing away are actually the things that we need the most in our life. So if you implement gamification, this can increase your chances of having a better life,
yes,
a more enjoyable life, a life with more money and things like that. So I totally agree with you that gamification is something that is very important.
Yes.
So like we said in the beginning of the podcast, you also have a podcast, and it seems that podcasts have helped a lot of people to start their crypto or NFT journey. And I'm sure that your podcast has also helped a lot of people. But what has actually motivated you to start your Web3 podcast in the first place?
So I was already running a podcast in the tech startup sort of world. So I was really enjoying. I'm a natural extrovert. I like meeting people. I like talking with new people and all that. So it came really naturally to me, and I loved podcasts. And I started podcasting when COVID hit because I could no longer travel around the world, and I could. So this was sort of my fix of networking. So that's why I started. But then I found that, oh, this is a really good hack to learn anything you want in life. If you say you like a TED talk, and then you watch it and you want to learn more about it, you just reach out to the person and you learn directly. And same thing, if you like a book, I can reach out straight to the author and learn more from him directly in a 1 hour or more sort of a conversation. And thousands, like tens of thousands of people have listened to my podcasts and stuff. So not only I got benefit, like tens of thousands of other people got the benefit as well over the years. So it's a win-win sort of a thing. And I haven't even had the chance to reach out to any guests that I want to interview since I started Web3, because it became really popular really fast. So I get like about 10 plus requests a week from people who want to be on my podcast, and I can only record so many podcasts. So it's been a good problem to have, but it is definitely very worth starting a podcast and promoting more educational stuff, as well as, I think it's better than doing something just scrolling past TikTok.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you on this one. Yeah, doing podcasts is enjoyable thing to do, and also gives you a lot of opportunities.
Very rewarding. Yeah, absolutely. I have got so many opportunities because of the podcast. So I highly recommend anyone to start a podcast.
Yeah, we just created a lot more competition for us, but that's okay.
No, that's okay. The thing is that there are going to be millions of podcasts, but let me tell you one interesting statistic. This is for all the listeners as well, that 80% of the podcasts have less than 3 episodes. Because most people give up before they become big. Because podcasting is also so much work, and most people are not ready to do the work. It's like everyone wants to become a content creator on Instagram or TikTok or wherever, but no one wants to do the work. So
Yeah, absolutely. And as a podcaster, I'm really curious to ask you this question as a starting podcaster. Like, how many episodes do you think you should make in order to achieve some sort of a success? I know that it's not a crypto related or crypto investing related, but I'm sure that those of the listeners that are really excited to start their podcast would be interested to know that.
Okay, so the thing is that there's millions of podcasts, and the top, say, maybe 100 podcasts get nearly 99% of the traffic. Most of the I don't exactly know the numbers, but that's generally how it is. It's just like, what sport is big where in your part of the world?
Football.
Is it? Yeah. So football, the top 100 people or top, 2,000 players in the world who play for all the different leagues, like English Premier League, La Liga in South America, like all the like the big leagues. There's like maybe 2,000 players. They make more money than the 3 billion other people who play football on the street. Most people are not gonna make money. So if you're gonna play football, play for your own enjoyment, play for your own health, because it's going to give you good health. You run on an average like 11 kilometers or between 7 and 11 kilometers or like 7 miles approximately in one game of football. So it's really good for your health, and that's why they're all fit. That's why you'll never see a obese football star ever. So do it for your own self, and it's the same goes for podcasting. If you expect to become, it's great if you become like Joe Rogan and make $100 million. It's awesome. It's a bonus. Think of it as a bonus, as a cherry on the pie. But the key benefit for most people is that you'll become better as a human being, as a personal development tool. Take it as that. Then you will have lots of fun. Then you won't have like unnecessary expectation and burden and stress on yourself. So do it for fun, do it for networking, do it for relationships, do it for becoming a better person, do it for continued education. So if you do it for those reasons, you are a winner. As soon as you've recorded one podcast episode, you're on to a winner. But just like in life, or just like in finance, of compound interest, right? Whether it is in stocks, equities, if you keep investing over 10, 20 years, you would have so much wealth that you can never, comprehend. Just like Warren Buffett said that compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. And, for someone like Warren Buffett, over 90% of his wealth came after the age of 65. So, the same thing applies to content, and same thing applies to human relationships and personal networks. If you do this for the next 10 years, this is compounding. Every episode that you are recording, every person you are meeting, all the knowledge you are getting is compounding over time, week after week. So you will become so much richer in those ways. So that's the benefit, So you can put your $1,000 in bank account for one day, that is creating one episode, or do you want to do it for 10 years and, get some real wealth?
Absolutely. Yes. Amazing. So let's get back to the topic of the podcast, which is crypto investing. And like I just said, you have an amazing podcast, and I have had the chance to listen to some of the episodes from it. So I have seen that you have had the opportunity to interview an amazing people. So I'm very curious to find out what are the top 3 most important lessons that everybody should know about, that you have heard about crypto investing or crypto as a whole from the experts that have been on your show.
Oh, yeah, that's a very good question. This is first time I'm answering this question. So well done for asking me this, because I go on like 3-4 podcasts sometimes a week on other podcasts as a guest speaker. So, I'll add some from my side of things. So there's, of course, the people who have given advice on DCA, like dollar cost averaging, that, if you DCA and in the long run, you will come up on top on stable things which have utility. So just like, Bitcoin has utility, and that it is used universally as store of value, from corporates to enterprise to wealthy sort of, families to, rich people. The other thing is, I'm just thinking, what is the second advice that I'd like to share? There's 3 things. I've got lots and lots of advice on the NFT side of things and metaverse side of things. So let me give one on the NFT side of things, that, how do you value an NFT project? So the number one thing, there's few things in that. Number one thing, you look at the founders or the founding team. Have they had previous successes and stuff, and which is very similar to evaluating a startup as well. Then the number 2 thing you look at is their roadmap. Are they going to stick around? And the number 3, you look at the utility. Does it have utility, or is it all just, smoke and mirrors, or just hype, So that is the number 3 thing you look at, is utility. So the founding team, the utility. And then there's number 4 thing you look at is brand. Because if you look at the top 4 or 5 NFT projects or crypto projects, the one thing they've done really, really well is they know how to create a brand. So because brands outlast the hypes, the ups and downs of the hypes and the market cycles. So it's like, the brand Nike or, Coca-Cola. So whether the economy is doing good or bad, you still have the same recognition of the brand Coca-Cola and the brand Nike or brand Apple, or so, So very successful companies know this, and same thing with NFT projects. They know this. They work on creating a brand. Then number 5 is community. So when you go and join their Discord, when you go and join their community, are the people there really forming a community and collaborating and sharing things, or are they there just to see if my price of this NFT is going to pump or is it going to dump? Now the same thing applies for the community side for crypto projects as well. Are the people there just to see if the price is going to go up or down? That is a very bad sign, that everyone's there just for the alpha. No one is in there for the real project. No one's in there for the real community. So that's the 5 things I would look at if I was evaluating the strength of an NFT project. So yeah, there's so much. I've done like 45 are published, and then I've recorded 10 more episodes. So each episode I get so much advice and so many good stuff. So the one episode that I'm editing currently, or the last 2 episodes that I recorded, they're all about the merge, the Ethereum merge, which I'm sure you are aware of, the ETH merge. And so how the ETH merge works, and how the ETH merge, what is going to happen. And some of them went too technical for like me to completely comprehend, because merge is just the start. It's like a 5-step plan. There's like the merge and the other steps, but yeah, merge the start of ETH. Basically they want to take it to a point where there can be 100,000 plus transactions a second, kind of a thing, so or a minute or something that they have in their roadmap. So Ethereum has a very long roadmap, and it is quite complex to understand every step of that process.
Yeah, that's true. Like you just said, you can learn something from everybody, and there are so many valuable lessons in the podcasts that you have done with your guests that I'm sure that it's very hard to find out only the 3 important lessons from all of them.
Yes.
But based on our experience as a crypto investor and also as a podcast host, what do you think people don't know about Web3 world?
Ooh, okay. Let me tell you this. This is once again, I learned from my interviews, and how people use Web3 in the Western world or in the Northern Hemisphere is very, very different to how Web3 or blockchain is being used in Africa or in some other parts of the world. So, like when crypto and stuff, it's like there is a lot of speculation, and a lot of the transactions are speculation related transactions that were happening, especially 2021. That's what was happening, because nearly every country in the world, whether it was UK or France or EU or Japan or US, or Canada, Australia, everyone, New Zealand, everyone was printing money, and a lot of this money ended up in the crypto markets, and people were playing and speculating with that money. So that's why it was giving crypto a bad name, whereas people in Africa didn't have that money to splurge and speculate. So how blockchain is used there has absolute real utility. It's like I've hired people in different African countries, like in Nigeria, in Kenya, in South Africa, and other places, and often they want to be paid in a stable coin. They used to be wanting to be paid in a Bitcoin, but not anymore. They want to be paid in stable coin, and because a lot of them, they don't have access to PayPal, they don't have access to Stripe and lots of other things that people in the Western world take for granted, let alone bank. I'm talking about even the digital online equivalents and stuff. So the thing is that there are real transactions happening, and that's why if you look at countries like Kenya, they lead the world when it comes to fractional digital sort of blockchain based transactions and stuff, like real world transactions. So I do think a lot of the new innovation is going to come from the African continent, and that is something that not a lot of people are keeping their eyes on and stuff. So just like how for last 30-40 years, from 1980 to 2020, the Chinese economy, or the growth of the Chinese economy, pretty much pulled the whole world together, as in like it brought the whole world and increases the global GDP. The next 20-30 years is going to be the whole African continent, 55 countries, second largest continent in the world, like bringing the whole global GDP up. So that's something that people should really look after. It's like, if you are looking for the Google in 2001, and if someone told you this is how big Google, do you know that the story of Google wanted to sell. Yahoo nearly bought Google for $1 million. Google went to Khosla Ventures as well, or Vinod Khosla and stuff, and said that, hey, do you want to buy us for $1 million? And he made an offer of $330,000. And then Google didn't sell at that time. This is many, many years ago, over 2 decades ago. So it's like, if you're looking for the Google in 1980, China was that Google. If you're looking for that Google or that Apple of today, the whole African continent, that is that place. So yeah, that would be my key thing. That's what people don't pay that much attention to.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. I have heard the same thing from some of the people that are much more knowledgeable about crypto than me. So they have also mentioned this, that Africa is growing very fast in the crypto development side, and probably we are going to hear a lot of news coming from there. So I totally think that the time for Africa is coming, but we don't know yet when exactly this will happen. So on our podcast, we have a lot of listeners that are just starting out in crypto, or they're just trying to find their way to start investing in crypto. So what do you think is the easiest and the most fun way for people to become part of the world of Web3?
Oh, I would say there's few different things. Web3 gaming is quite big. So that's one thing that you can definitely have a look. But what I would do is, it depends on what you are interested in. So someone listening to this might be interested in animation. Someone else might be interested in augmented reality, or whatever their interest is, or accounting or law or whatever. So what you should do for whoever you are listening is that you should enter your keyword plus Web3 or plus blockchain in Google and search what projects are there, and then go and join their Discord. Nearly every Web3 project has a Discord, and you can talk there directly with their founders, how they're building and stuff, and be involved in that. So this would be a very easy and fun way to be involved in. And there are so many opportunities in this space. There's so many people hiring in this space. And if you need help, just reach out to me. I know so many people in this space who are looking for team members and staff and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. The crypto space is a very welcoming one and full of opportunities. You just have to pick yours.
Yes.
The one that excites you the most.
Yes.
So yeah, it's amazing to be part of the crypto world. But what do you think are the first steps that just starting out crypto investors should take for a higher chance of success?
First steps, as I said that, join relevant projects, go and join their Discord. If you're going to invest into something, then go and research them, find out, ask yourself why. Instead of asking yourself why you should invest in that project, ask yourself why you should not invest in yourself, and look at both sides of the argument, so that you have a clear picture. I'm not a degen, so or like I don't ape into just projects just willy-nilly. So and there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it if you can afford it. But I like to study things. I like to learn things, and also because I feel like I'm naturally curious, so that helps. So be curious about anything you join, anything you become part of, because all this space is new. And whenever there is a new space, there is a new land, there is a new country, anything new, there are bound to be characters that are not so good, or they are there to just scam people or take advantage of people. So yeah, I would highly recommend people to be safe, to examine the space, make sure it's not a rug pull, make sure it is real, what utility it has. I always ask myself, what's the utility? Why should this thing even exist? Are there other ways of doing the same thing that are much more efficient? So ask yourself those sort of questions and stuff before getting involved.
Yeah, and I would add to listen to great podcasts like the one that Sam has created. And
thank you so much. and also yours. You're doing such a great job. Thank you, Polar.
Thank you very much. This was a paid advertising. I'm kidding. We haven't talked about that in the beginning. So you have been in the crypto for so much time, because crypto, like we said, is a very dynamic space. So 1 week is like 1 year in a Web2 world. So is there an investment strategy that you have seen to work the most for you during all these years?
I haven't been actually. Okay, yes, I have an investment strategy for anyone and everyone. This is what I have done. That is, I have invested in myself. And so that is, I would highly recommend anyone to do. And this is what I see you doing right now, Paula. By running this podcast, by talking with some really good people, you are investing in yourself. So I would highly recommend anyone to invest in yourself, because that is where you cannot go wrong, whether the market goes up or down. If you invest in yourself, you will come off better off in the long run. So you can invest in yourself by learning things. It could be learning things on YouTube, on TikTok, on Twitter. It does not matter, learn about things, learn about how things work, be curious about things, network with people, learn from other people, collaborate with people on things. And so this is an investment of time more so than money itself, but this will create more wealth for you in the long run, and also sometimes in the short run and stuff. And I've seen so many people who have done extremely well because they were in the right place at the right time. And this is how you be in the right place at the right time. You work on building your network, you work on educating yourself in this field and stuff. So I know people who have become parts of different projects because they were in the right Discord at the right time. They were helping out, they were moderating, and then they got their role and they started and built that sort of small startup together, and they got an allocation when the token was released and stuff. And I know so many people and so many stories who have built things and who built empires from nothing, from $0. So this, I would say, is the best strategy to go about.
I absolutely agree with you. Like, this strategy that you just mentioned is so underestimated. Like, people believe that if you find right now the next Bitcoin, this is the best way to invest in your future. But like you said, investing in yourself,
yes,
something that has much higher return than finding the next Bitcoin right now. This is what I believe. But of course, maybe this is just me and Sam that we think this way. But trust me on this one, like, for all my years as a marketing expert, I have found out that the things that have given me the biggest returns, because as a marketing advisor and consultant, this is what I have been always looking for, the best return of investment, has always been the courses that have paid for, the consultations, the coaches, the events, the podcasts, and things like that. Some of them haven't costed me a lot of money. Some of them have, but that's totally fine, because I have been able to return my money many, many times after that. So yeah, invest in yourself is definitely something that we should all continue doing our whole life, because when a water stops moving, in the end it just dies. So
that's such a good saying. Yeah, that is so true.
Yeah, it's the same with learning and curiosity. If curiosity in you dies, in the end, like, probably you're dying in some way.
Yes.
So it's definitely a good thing to continue improving your education. I hope that I'm not sounding like your parent or your teacher, but
No, because education can be fun as well. It can be in different ways. It does not have to be in a school, in a classroom. Like what people are doing right now, whoever's listening, they are in a way educating themselves. And I'm doing, and what you're doing right now is educating ourselves by learning from each other and stuff. So then the other thing I would like to say is, when you invest in yourself in this way, it is something that no one can tax it. It is something that no one can steal it. You can lose your keys to Bitcoin, or you can lose your keys to your digital wallet, but this is your own knowledge. It's your own personal network. No one can steal it. This relationship, this connection, no one can, it's not stealable that someone can go in our wallet and clean it out or rug pull us or something. So that's why invest in your own personal network, invest in your connections, invest in your learning, your education, your understanding of things and stuff. So yeah, that's what I would say.
Absolutely. So, as you know, the name of our podcast is the Seasonal Tokens Podcast.
Yes.
Crypto investing, not gambling. So, how do you think a person can do more investing rather than gambling in crypto?
Oh, that's kind of similar thing to what I said, is to go for the utility. And just to make it more interesting, it's like if you are a lawyer, or if say you are an accountant, then go and see who is building blockchain projects, because there are Web3 projects in nearly every single field. And that's why I think it is going to affect every single field. So go and see who's building in that space, learn from them, be part of their Discord, and then see if you do like that project. If not, there is nothing. You do not have to invest. You don't owe anyone anything. Do research on few projects in that space. So that's how I would start if I was starting now.
Great. So I have so many more questions that I want to ask you, but at the same time, I don't want to make a very long podcast. So my final question for you is there something that you want to share more with the audience that you think that we have missed to mention so far?
No, I think we have covered nearly everything. The last thing I would like to say is that don't worry about the market ups and downs. I've been here for the 2011, the 2013, the 2015, the 2018. Every time it's gone down. Last time Ethereum, in the last sort of the bull and bear market or boom and bust, it went from high of $1,400 something in 2017-18 to later in 2018 it went down to $86. So and this has happened over and over again. So it's fine. If you don't worry about the ups and downs, worry about building some real utility. That's the only thing you should be worrying about, and go and build things in this space, because not only you incredible wealth for yourself and for others if you build some things with real utility. So that's what you should be focusing on. So yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, so the keyword or takeaway from this podcast is utility, invest in yourself. So Sam,
Yes.
it was
And also don't worry about the market ups and downs. They will come and go. Yeah, they come and go.
Absolutely. So it was an amazing pleasure to have you on my podcast, where people can learn more about you.
Yeah, so you can go to Sam Kamani, SAMKAMANI, samkamani.com, and you should be able to find about my podcast, my TED Talk, my books, or anything about me that you want to know over there, or reach out to me on LinkedIn or Twitter. Most of the time I'm active on LinkedIn. So yeah, just search for my name, Sam Kamani, SAMKAMANI, and yeah, you'll find me.
Great. So thank you very much again for being a guest on our show. So thank you very much to all of our listeners that have been with us till this part. I truly appreciate your support, and I would be really grateful if you can share our podcast with your friends, subscribe on your favorite platform, and come and listen to our next episodes. So I'm Power, the CMO of Seasonal Tokens, and I'll talk to you on the next episode. Bye.